Edible cookie dough ready in 10 minutes. First, we're going to lightly toast the flour for about 5 minutes on medium heat. Stir this every so often, and then we're going to cream together the butter and 2 sugars. So just cut the butter into pieces and mix until it's smooth and creamy. Now add vanilla, a pinch of salt, and almond milk. Mix this together, and then slowly add in the flour while mixing. Eventually you'll get a smooth paste like this, and then we're going to fold in some chocolate chips. And here's your edible cookie dough. So much easier to make than you thought.
Froggy cream puffs, froggy cream puffs, froggy cream puffs, froggy cream puffs, creamy froggy puffs, cream puffs, but froggies, froggy cream puffs, froggy cream puffs, froggy cream puffs.
Quick and easy guava pastries. You'll need puff pastry sheets, guava paste, and an egg. Cut guava paste in 1/4-inch slices. Cut your puff pastry sheets into whatever size you like. Then you can place your guava slices and the top of the pastry. Paint with egg wash and bake at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. And that's it. Enjoy!
I have this beautiful pan and had to make some madeleines. Melt 1/2 cup of butter and leave it to the side. Crack 2 eggs and add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Whisk this for a minimum of 8 minutes. Zest a lemon. At this point there should be ribbons like this forming. Add the lemon and a teaspoon of vanilla essence and mix it all in. In a separate bowl, put a cup of plain flour and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Add a pinch of salt and mix. You're then going to gently fold in 1/2 of the flour at a time into the egg mix. Take a spoonful of the mix and fold it into your batter from earlier. When it's silky and combined, add it to the main mix. Treat the batter gently to keep all the air in and keep it fluffy and smooth. Cover it and chill it for 30 minutes. Grease your pan and use 1 tablespoon of batter for each mould. Cook at medium heat for 14 minutes and then cool them on a rack. Dust them with icing sugar and enjoy. This is how to make soft gingerbread biscuits. First, start with 350 grams of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, then mix in 160 grams of brown sugar. With your fingers, add 100 grams of butter until breadcrumbs form. Then add 4 tablespoons of golden syrup and 1 whole egg. Mix this all together into a dough, then roll out onto a floured surface and cut into shapes. Cook them on parchment paper at 170 degrees Celsius in the oven or until golden brown but still soft in the middle. Blueberry muffins. In a small bowl, put a 1/4 cup sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, a pinch of cinnamon, and melt 2 teaspoons of butter. Combine them all, mix, and then add extra flour until it's crumbly. And then in a large bowl, 2½ cups of flour, teaspoon of bicarb, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Give it a whisk. And then in another bowl, a cup of sugar, melt 1/2 cup of butter, and mix. Add 2 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a cup of milk, any will do. Whisk, and then combine with the dry mix. Add 1 cup blueberries, mix until combined. Fill 12 cases to the top, sprinkle with your crumble mix, cook at medium heat for 25 minutes, or until golden. And I'd recommend eating these straight out of the oven. This is my family recipe for homemade Baileys. Me and my granddad make this together every Christmas. Start with 250 milliliters of double cream. Mix in 1 tin of condensed milk and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then add 2 tablespoons of camp coffee and 5 teaspoons of chocolate sauce. Give it a good whisk until it's smooth, and then add a 350ml bottle of any whiskey. This keeps for 2 months in the fridge, or serve it over ice and have a glass straight away.
5, 6, 7, 8. Dance with me in my backyard, boy. Looking super fine in your corduroy. Drive me round the block, we can go in a loop, and we'll turn the vibe.
I got all these cherries from a farm shop nearby. It was definitely time for jam. Destone 750 grams of cherries, leave a quarter in half and the rest in quarters. Put on the hob at medium heat, add 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and give them a bit of a mash. Leave them to cook for about 7 minutes. Measure out 500 grams of granulated sugar and add it to the pot to dissolve. This made the whole kitchen smell like cherries. Bring it to a rolling boil and then time it for 10 minutes. Test it's ready by putting a small drop in the fridge, then run your finger through and it should stay separated. You can also make tarts at this stage, or ladle it still warm into a sterilised jar, and as it cools it will set even more. This is a quick and easy shortbread recipe. Start with 150 grams of plain flour and add 100 grams of granulated sugar, and then mix in 50 grams of butter until a breadcrumb-like consistency is formed, and then squeeze together with your fingers until a dough appears. Cover and chill for at least 30 minutes, and then roll out on a floured surface. I have this really cute new rolling pin, which makes the sweetest patterns, and I paired it with a star cutter. Sprinkle with sugar, and then cook at a medium heat for 12 minutes or until the corners are slightly brown. You can then eat them as they are or cover them in chocolate like I did. I really fancied these for lunch today, so I thought I'd give you the recipe we use. 1 cup of plain flour, and a teaspoon of sugar, and just a sprinkle of salt. Add 3 eggs to the mix, and give it a good stir. 1.5 cups of milk. We use Oatly, but dairy is fine as well. Whisk it all together till it's smooth. Heat a knob of butter in a pan. Add your mix, cook on one side, and flip and cook on the other side. Repeat as many times as you need to. These can be eaten savoury or sweet.
Come from the forest and set round the fire. Come from the fields and enter our hall. Come drink from the guest cup, come join in our circle. Come and be welcome, ye bards one and all. Come and be welcome, O fair-voiced singer, weaving the magic of music along. You can thunder the heavens to raise up an army, or simply bring laughter and peace with a song. Come from the forest and sit round the fire. Come from the field and enter our hall. Come drink from the guest cup, come join in our circle. Come and be welcome, ye bards one and all.
I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly in a groove of your love.
Let's make a white bean and kale soup. Start by cooking 1 onion, 5 cloves of garlic, 2 stalks of celery, and 1 carrot in a little bit of olive oil. Add a can of diced tomatoes, salt, pepper, parsley, basil, oregano, and a pinch of red pepper flakes. And don't forget 2 handfuls of chopped kale and 2 cans of white beans. Cook your kale, add 6 cups of veggie stock, bring to a boil and simmer for 15 minutes. And enjoy, my love!
This is how I make my favourite stew. It has similar flavours to a Greek stafado, but different ingredients. First I chopped 1.5 onions, and to a pot of hot oil, I added 2 teaspoons of garlic. I chopped 1 carrot, and added my beef to the pot, and left it to brown. I peeled and chopped 2 potatoes into chunks. By then, the beef was nice and brown, and I could add all the veg on top. I used 1 can of chopped tomatoes and mixed it in. I added a stalk of rosemary, a cinnamon stick, 2 bay leaves and a teaspoon of nutmeg, and then seasoned with salt and pepper. I then added half a cup of water and about 2 tablespoons of vinegar and 1 cup of red wine. I cooked this on a medium heat for about 4 hours, but the longer and the slower you can cook it, the better it will be. Remember to remove the cinnamon stick and the bay leaves. In the UK, we don't have snickerdoodles, which is so sad. So here's my recipe when I want to make them at home. Start with 370 grams of plain flour, add 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Add a pinch of salt and stir. In another bowl, add 275 grams of granulated sugar and mix with 230 grams of butter. Add in 1 yolk and 1 whole egg, add a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and combine until soft and fluffy. Slowly add in the dry ingredients and mix until a thick dough forms. And then in a separate bowl, you're going to add 70 grams of granulated sugar mixed with a teaspoon of cinnamon. Take a small ball of the dough and thoroughly coat it in the sugar mix, and then lay them all out on baking parchment. Cook for 10 minutes at 190 degrees Celsius, and when they come out, push down with a spoon. Leave them to cool on a rack and enjoy.
Start by finely chopping your mint until it looks something like this. See? Nature's confetti. Next, you're going to chop up your wood sorrel, and this stuff is really great. You can find it everywhere. It tastes kind of lemony, and you can see it has heart-shaped leaves. Push that in with your mint and grab your garlic. Take toasted pine nuts and chop them with your garlic. Put it all in here. Add a squeeze of lemon, olive oil, and salt. And serve on toast or in pasta or whatever makes you smile.